Sup guys, today I have here my main shitbox, my very dirty E36 Touring, and it's got a pretty bad steering rack leak. So today I'm going to rebuild it and show you the whole process. This should be pretty much the same for any E36, E30, Z3 or even E46. So let's get right into it. So first, let's lift the car and put it on jack stands. Now let's remove the wheels. And as you can see here, the rubber boot has a little hole and it's full of ATF, as you can see. And it's leaking pretty bad. You can see it here. All the way to the back, it's leaking real good. And on this side, pretty much the same. As you can see, it's full of ATF. So let's remove the steering rack. So first, let's remove the rubber boots. They are both cooked, so we will have to replace them. Oh. So it should not have any ATF here, and it's actually full of ATF. So we'll need to remove the inner tie rod. Just like that. Here. Just like that. Now let's do the same on the other side. Now let's remove the two feed-in return line banjos. The smaller one is a 19mm and the bigger one is a 22. Now here, behind the front subframe, we can remove this nut and bolt that hold the steering rack to the steering wheel. But first, let me rotate it a bit to make it more accessible. I moved the steering wheel a quarter to the left. Now we can remove the nut and bolt. The nut and the bolt are both 13 millimeters, and you need to hold the bolt on the other side for it not to rotate. Just like that. And now we can give it some love taps to make the steering column go up. Now let's remove the bolts that hold the steering rack in place. They are 15 millimeters, and you need, with another 15 millimeters, hold the nut that is here on top for it not to rotate. And now we can actually remove the steering rack. Just like this. Here it is, the steering rack. I gave it a quick scrub. So now let's start disassembling it. First, let's remove this rubber cover. Now I will just clean this mess up. Here it is. So now let's remove the seat clamp that you see in here. Here we have it. So now I'll put a little indentation here, just so I know where it was when I put it back in. Now when I bolt it back in, I can put it in the exact same spot. Now this is a 17 millimeter. We have this part, the spring, and this part here inside. With some pliers we can remove this part. Oh, actually we have an O-ring there that we have to remove first. I will show you in a moment. This O-ring. Now we can pull this thing. As you can see, here it is. Now we can actually remove these two hoses. It's a 12 millimeter. It was tight. The other one. Go. We can also remove this one. just like that. It's just pressed in. The other one, just like that. Here we go. 1, 2. They're actually pretty on there. Be careful not to lose any of these tiny O-rings, because sometimes they can be stuck here, as you can see. Let's put this aside. Now you can remove this cover. It's a 22 millimeter to remove the cover. Just like that. With a 17 millimeter, we can remove this nut. Just like that. And now, let me just clean this mess up. And now with a punch, we can punch this part out. Now we can pull it out. Here we have it. So now. Fuck. To remove this middle part, we have here inside. You can see it. What we have here on the inside, a snap ring that we need to remove. We can actually use this hole to help us remove the snap ring. It's in there, as you can see. Just like that. I don't know if you can see, but it's under the snap ring. And the snap ring is lifted. I'm trying to. Yep, the snap ring is lifted. So now I will slowly try to pry it out. I'll actually grab another screwdriver. Here I have it. I was able to remove it. I think you can see it maybe right there. I was able to remove it by putting a screwdriver in there and putting the screwdriver under the snap ring, and then with a pick I went under it and started twisting around, and then with a thicker screwdriver I just force it out. The new kit that I bought has another snap ring, so it's a bit twisted, but that doesn't really matter. So now I can just pull it out, just like that. And here we have it. Let's start removing the seals. So we have one seal there inside here. It's basically here, and this one is actually the most difficult one to replace, but I'll try to do some magic because it's basically here. Let's see what I can do. Maybe let's put this aside. Maybe with this I'm actually able to get under it. Here it is. I was actually able to remove it. So this thing, actually there is another piece here. Let me remove it. Here it is. This is like this, the oil seal and these plastic pieces behind it, and it goes here on this position right here where is the thicker part. So how did I remove this? I actually got a 22 millimeters and a lot of extensions. I put the 22 on the extensions, fitted the 22 from this side, the rear side, as you can see, and then I tried to hit it with a hammer and did nothing. So I actually put it like this on the floor and beat the crap out of it, like really hard, and it actually worked. This one, the other one is done. Now let's remove this one. We have one in there too. It's right here, more or less, with a larger screwdriver. Let's try to remove this one. Here it is, finally. I got it out. It's inside here in this thicker part, and it's like this. So in this part, there isn't anything else to remove, so let's clean it. So here we have it all nice and clean on the outside and on the inside, as you can see. So now let's put this aside. We have here this part. As you can see, this top part, we can remove it, and we have here a bearing, and on the inside of the bearing we have a rubber seal. So we have to press out the bearing and the rubber seal. So with a puller and a 20 millimeter, we're gonna place the 20 millimeter here and the puller on top, and Here we have it. Here is the bearing. Here is the rubber seal, as you can see. So let's put this aside. And in this part, we need to remove these Teflon rings, just like this. That works too. It's actually easier that way. Under the Teflon rings, we have O-rings too, as you can see. We have to remove them too. And I think that's all for this part too. Let's put it aside. In this part, we can actually remove this top part, as you can see. And inside here, we have a rubber seal too that we have to remove. With a 22mm. And the puller again, let's try to remove it. Here we go. There we go. So again, this part, this one, and the rubber seal. And in this part, we have also this O-ring that we have to remove. And this part, we have also a Teflon ring, and a O-ring under it. There we go. Here is the repair kit I bought. Here is the reference if you want to buy one, and it should have everything we need to repair this steering rack. I will actually start cleaning all the parts to start the assembling process. Oh, and I forgot to remove the O-ring from here. So let's do it. So we actually have a situation here. As you can see here, there is a bit of rust, but you can barely feel anything with the nail. So I'll try to polish it. I actually have something here too. I'll try to polish it to see if it buffs out, because it would be pretty sad if it don't.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So guys, I actually have some really bad news. As you can see there, it's actually too far gone because there are missing chunks. I tried to polish it and everything, but There are actually too many missing chunks, even on this side, as you can see. So it's actually too far gone. I will not gonna use this one, because if I use this one, it will probably just screw up the rubber seal again. And I don't really want to spend the money of the kit in vain, you know, because it was like 50 bucks. I don't want to risk screwing up with the kit. I'm actually gonna remove the steering rack from one of my other cars, and I think I'm going to repair that one, put that one in my E36 Touring, and later I will need to get a new steering rack, I guess, because I don't think I'll be able to get just this part. So yeah, that's that. Let's do it. So we are going to remove the steering rack from this one. This is my wannabe drift missile. It's just sitting here for now, so we're gonna use this one. This one has a M43 B16. The steering rack should be the same thing. Yeah, let's remove it and let's see if it works. And here I have the steering rack from my drift missile. I will actually not clean it because the other parts from the original steering rack are all cleaned. I'm going to disassemble the steering rack and I'm gonna see if this shaft is exactly the same as in the other steering rack. If it is, I will actually use all the parts from the other steering rack and only the shaft from this one. So this one is way better actually. It has no marks whatsoever. We have here the two shafts. This is the Touring one, this is the Drift Missile one. And the only difference that I can see between these two is that the Touring one here on this part measures 45 millimeters and the drift missile one has 44 millimeters. But we also have another difference. In the Touring one, there was this O-ring and the Teflon ring. And in the drift missile one, there was this O-ring that is actually the same, and this thing. As you can see, they are different, because this one goes only in the slot, and this one goes over this part too. So I actually measured this lip, and this lip measures 1 millimeter. So with this lip, the drift missile one will be exactly the same as this one. And I've checked in the kit that I have, and I actually have this one. I don't have this one. I only have 4 of this that are for this part, and I don't have the one that goes here. So this actually turns out good, I guess, because other way I didn't add anything to put on this one. So let's use this shaft and we should be good to go. I will actually buff out this shaft just to make it super smooth, to guarantee that it will turn out great. Here we have all the parts. On the left, you can see that we have the old stuff, and on the right, the new stuff. There is actually one O-ring that I didn't remove here, so I'm gonna remove it. Here we go. And here we have the new one. So let's start the assembling process. We need to remove this plastic thing, because we have a new one here. Here we go. And the O-ring. So in this part, the rubber seal actually fits like this, because when you put it in this part, it will seal the oil from going in that direction. So you need to put the seal like this. And then the bearing goes like this in here. So let's press it together. So with a punch, I just punched the rubber seal a little bit inside, as you can see. Now I will fit in the bearing, and I will punch it in with a 22 millimeter. Here it is. I hammered it in. Now the O-ring, like this. So originally BMW used a rubber seal and this plastic spacer, and then this part on this piece. And the kit that I bought, the plastic part and the rubber seal are already together, and it comes with this part too. So we need to fit all of this in here like this. And with a 30, we can push it the rest of the way in. And here we have it. Perfectly straight. Make sure they are actually straight. And the last part, the O-ring, like so. We can discard this part. Now, let's replace the little O-rings that we have on these hoses. The kit actually came with them too. Or this. They are these tiny ones. There we go. There we go. There we go, and it actually came with these ones too. So let's replace them. There we go. The other one. There we go. Let's discard this. Now let's place these rubber seals. This one is the one that goes here, and it's actually like this because this part has the steering fluid, and you don't want it to go inside here, so you should put the rubber seal like this. So let's drop it in there like that. With the 27 we can press it in. There we have it. I actually hit it with the hammer to make sure it was seated until the sound changed. Now to put this one, here we have the same thing. The OEM one was like this, and the one in the kit is like this. And this one is in here, and it's actually like this, in this direction. So let's pop it first. This plastic piece, it's actually upside down. There we have the plastic piece, as you can see. Now, the rubber seal, I'll just kind of drop it in. No. There it is, as you can see. Make sure you can see the white part, because the white part should be on this side. So now we can actually use this part to put it in place. Like that. And now just I will actually do this on the ground to make sure it is seated. I pressed it a bit more on the ground, and now it's actually seated, as you can see, perfectly straight. This part is done. We can discard these parts. Now we can start assembling this part. We have here the new O-rings. There we go. So I have here some hot water. I will put the Teflon rings inside here to make them soft. I will actually throw this one in too. And I can already fit this O-ring in here. Like this. This one I will be able only to fit it in when I put this part, so I will discard this anyways. And I can discard these ones too. And we have a new one of this, so I'll throw the old one out. I will also throw this ones out. Now that they are more malleable, I will hopefully, and they expanded also, I will hopefully be able to push them to their place. So let's try to go for the last one. They don't really want to, but there we go. It's a bit crooked, but there we go. It's perfect. Another one. There we go. Another one. Last one. There we go. Now we can fit this part in here, but first a bit of silicone spray to make it fit better on the rubber seals and on the O-rings, like so. Now we can actually fit it like that. I will actually put some in the Teflon rings too. It's not probably needed, but it shouldn't hurt. And now let's put this one in here. There we go. Now we can start to actually assemble it. So I will spray some silicone grease to the rubber seal inside there. And I'll put some bearing grease in this part. You can put a lot of it because it won't hurt actually. Now I'll put some silicone grease in this ring and here on the shaft. And let's put it in its place. It was actually a bit tricky to fit this part in here because the Teflon ring that we installed in this part needs to be 100% straight and 100% centered. Otherwise, it will try to slip out. So be careful with it. Rotate it and fit the rest of the way in. It needs to be like this. Yep, this part should be like this to fit in this part. We can actually put this part on the end. Just put some silicone spray to make it fit better. And we can actually fit this part in here, like this. With a 30mm, I'll just give it a couple of taps to set it right. There we go. Now we are able to see the place where the snap ring goes. Now let's try to fit it in. There we go. It's 100% seated. There we go. Now we can put this part. So first, let's put a little bit of bearing grease in this part. Let's fit it in its place. Let me give a couple of taps here. Should be seated. I need to push this part to its place. There we go. Now we can put the C clamp in. There we go. Before we put this nut in, I will actually put some bearing grease inside here just to grease up this bearing. Now we can fit the nut in. And let's bolt it with a 17mm. So it should be good. Now we can put this cap on. Again with a 22mm. There we go. Now we can put a little bit of silicone grease in this O-ring and a bit of grease here. Now let's put this inside here. There we go. And now we have the new O-ring to put inside here. Just like that. And we can put the spring and this cover back in. It's spring loaded, so you need to push it a bit. There you go. Now let's put it in the exact same spot where it was. Right there. Let's center the steering rack. So we have 6 and 5. So we need to go a bit to that side. 7.5. Five, 1, and on this side 5, 1, so it's basically centered. So now let's put this cap back in. Like that. So now let's put some silicone grease on the O-rings of the hoses. bad. And let's pop them back in. There we go. There we go. The other one. Here it is, all nice and done. Now let's pop it back into the car and let's see how it is. So before we do anything else, both of the rubber boots are torn, like I shown in the beginning of the video, and I got replacements. So first let's pop this in place, and then let's fit the steering rack in its place. And the other one, there we go. Now let's pop the steering rack back in. Let's fit the steering rack. Just make sure when you connect the steering rack to the steering column that the steering wheel is straight. I don't actually have new washers for the banjos, but it actually should be okay. These are aluminum washers, so it should be all good. The steering rack is on its place. So now let's pop the hood. So this is a 325 TDS, so this engine is actually an M51, and on these engines the steering fluid goes here in an amazing place, as you can see. There we go. So let's fill it up with ATF, because as you can see, ATF oil only. Now that it's all filled up, I will turn the wheel from one side to the other slowly. Slowly, just like this. To make sure that the fluid goes through the steering rack. Now that it is all filled up, I'm going to turn on the engine. Now I'm going to turn the steering wheel slowly from one side to the other to make sure that the fluid goes to the steering rack. Just slowly, you don't want to rush it. You need that slowly the steering fluid goes to the rack. Now let's check the steering fluid. So with the steering fluid reservoir all filled up, let's turn again the steering wheel from one side to the other for a little bit more time to make sure it's all filled up and there is no leaks, of course. So now let's check the steering fluid level. But first, as you can see, 0 leaks, which is good. And the ATF is right on max. There appear to be no leaks. The steering fluid level, it's stable, isn't dropping anymore. So let's put the inner tie rods back on their place. Now the rubber boot, and let's finish it off with a zip tie. Let's refit the wheels. And the other one. Now let's remove the jack stand and lower the car. Now with the car back on ground level, let's check the fluid level. So to check the fluid level, you just need to unscrew the cap, and you see here you have 2 little steps. This one is the lower limit, this one is the higher limit. So you just need to clean the cap like this and then screw it back in loosely like that, then remove it, and as you can see it's right on the max level, so it's perfect. And there we go, it's another job well done, another shit box back on the road. That one will have to wait a bit. Oh, and if you're asking about this one, this was my first car, and yep, you guessed it right, is another E36. So yeah, that's that. That's a job well done. See you in the next one. Like the video if you find it useful, subscribe if you want to see more, leave a comment if you have any questions. See you in the next one, man. Peace. So now let's pop the trunk. This is not the trunk.